many great things happen on Tu B'Av. So really, it's an indication. You know what? You can have a day. A day could either be a day for great things, or a day could be a day for terrible tragedies. It's all dependent on our merits, whether what the day will they become. We should always merit that. We should always have great, happy days. Okay, we are on Nun Gimel Amud Beis 53b. In the art scroll, it's 53b4. On the right side of the page, Zacharim Yotzim Lubavim. I just wanted, just on a point that we said yesterday, the last thing that we said yesterday was about there was a story with a man who married a woman whose hand had been cut off, and he never recognized that about her. And first Rav says, look how modest the woman was, that she covered herself all the time, that he wasn't able to be able to notice that her hand was missing. I don't know that it means that a whole hand was missing. It means at least the front of the hand was missing. So Rav Chia said, Zu daka b'kach, that is her way. So Rashi says, every woman covers herself. And certainly this woman that needs to cover herself because she was missing her hand. But I just, the idea that every woman is modest, covers her hand, also interesting to see the modesty of the women that they had. Okay. Because Rashi says, every woman covers herself, and certainly this woman that needed to because of a situation. Okay, modesty is an area today we're in the summertime, and modesty is under attack, right, David? Modesty is under attack, and we have to go ahead and strengthen in modesty. It's one of the great midot of the Jewish people. That when Bilam wanted to curse the Jewish people, instead of curse 53b4. Bilam was not able to curse the Jewish people. He wanted to curse the tents of the Jewish people. He wanted to curse the modesty of the Jewish people, and he wanted to curse the Jewish home. But he had to say, "Ma tovu alecha Yaakov," how great are the tents of Yaakov? The tents, because morning Adam, he saw that the Jewish people, the way they made their tents is that when you open your tent, the opening of each person's tent did not face the opposite the opening of the other guy's tent. But if my opening of my room opens, that you open your room, if someone's not dressed properly, I would see into your room. But how do you like that, David? But if the openings are not facing each other, when you custom make your house, tell the architect that one room should not be exactly. How do you like that, Charlie? One opening should not be exactly facing the other guy's opening door. There are houses that are made that way. That you open one door, it's facing the other, opposite the other room. But this is from modesty point. I'm not saying it's forbidden, but the point is just keep that modesty in mind. Okay, we're on 53b4. Zacharim on the right side. Zacharim yotzei levuvim. You said the Mishnah stated that the rams, the male sheep, the ram could go out attached with the levuvim on the Shabbat, and that's not a problem. It's not called violation of the animal carrying something, right? That's what we've been discussing. The name of the parak is what kind of animal go out with on Shabbat that it's not called carrying, because the same way you can't carry from private to public, the animal can't carry something from private to public. So we say this is not considered carrying. Elim yotzim levuvim. My levuvim. Levuvim, it's not a common word, right? It's not like Asher Yoshvei Veitecha, right? So what is levuvim? What is this levuvim that the male sheep could go out with? My Amar Huna 2-3. It's when the animals are tied together, when they would tie the animals 2 by 2, and therefore you don't want the animals to run away, and that is let's say necessary for the animals, and the animals are going out with that strap around its feet, 2 animals tied together. That's not called carrying. It's interesting to note that the Maram Bennett says only the male animals they hit tied up like that. Because the male animals, they're more common to run away. The females, they're not running away so fast. Okay? They're a little bit different. They're different. The way God made, same way God made men, God made women different, same thing as the animals. Animals, even the animals, where God made it, the nature of the animals, the male animals are more feisty, if that's the right word, David. More fight. They run more. They're more. Well, you hear that, Charlie? Okay, whatever it is, and therefore or their nature of running away. That is the way. I just want to tell everybody an interesting story somebody told me. With all the liberal stuff that's going on today, so they wanted someone wanted to take little kids, little boys, and give them dolls to play with, and little girls to give them fire engines and police cars and trucks. The common thing is that boys play with trucks and fire engines, and girls play with dolls. So what did they want to do? The liberals, they wanted that the boys, they wanted to switch it around. You hear that, Mordechai? What they want to do? So you know what the boys did with the dolls? They banged the dolls, and the girls patted the fire engines and the fire truck and the police truck. I think America. No, no, in America. But the point is, they want to change the nature how Hashem made the men and boys and girls, and they made them different. Just like you see in the animals, people are not animals, but you see by the animals how the difference of the females and the males. Okay, it was. By the way, the other day I saw a pair of cops, a male cop and a woman cop. The male cop looked like he was built like an ox, and the girl was like 5'1" and looked like I mean, what, she's gonna go to a fight with somebody? The whole thing is just such a joke. It's such a 5'1". How do you like that, David? 5'1" female cop, and
Might be well trained then.
yeah, but might be okay. But
That's what the police want you to think. That, it's supposed to be unexpected.
okay. I know a religious Orthodox cop. He likes to have a man partner. What can I tell you? Nothing against ladies, but you have to know Hashem made women different. Everyone has a different responsibility, different type of job. Okay. So the Gemara says, "My levuvim." So Rav Huna says, "Tutri." That's the thing that ties the two animals together. They shouldn't run away. My mashma dai levuvim lishad the kruvahu. That means the levuvim is something that keeps these animals together. They shouldn't run away. Where do we see that the language is language of kiruv, of coming of close? The ksiv, the pasuk says in Shir Hashirim, "Livavtini achoti kala." You have brought me close to you, my sister, the Kala. What does that mean? The pasuk compares the closeness of Hashem to the Jewish people, which is a beloved way. You call it like my sister, my bride. God is the groom. God is like in Shir Hashirim. God is compared to the groom, and the Jewish people are considered the bride. And it says that God brings has a close relationship with the Jewish people, that the closest God to the Jewish people is because of a beautiful actions that are compared to beauty. It's as if Hashem is saying to the Jewish people, "You have drawn my heart, God's heart, with your beautiful." When it talks about your beautiful jewelry, it doesn't really mean your jewelry. It means your beautiful actions that the Jewish people act. So we see that levuv is an idea. It refers to kind of bringing close. And the word levuv, the root of the word levuv has the word leiv, heart, which represents you've drawn my heart. You got my heart close to you, and that's the okay. So the Gemara says. Ula disagrees. Ula says, you know what? You know what the levuvim is that the animals are going out with? And by the way, we should always be zocher that we should always do actions that Hashem will always that will draw the heart of Hashem close. What we're doing now, learning the Holy Torah in the morning, getting up early, coming to learn, it's drawing Hashem's heart to us. Big merit for the Jewish community. It's a police vest. How do you like that? What kind of for the animals? A vest of protection. It's a leather vest that they tie against the heart of the ram, the male, to protect the heart, a vital organ to protect. That the wolf should not go ahead and attack and do great damage to the heart of the ram. So the vuvim is the language of leiv, the heart. It's an item, it's a leather thing, that leather jacket that you put around the heart of the ram. So the Gemara as protection. So the Gemara says, Zehivim, see the police jackets, they protect from shootings, and they protect them from the leather, they're protecting the animals from what? From the wolves ripping apart its heart. So the Gemara says, why? Only the Zacharim, and the Mishnah states, the males, the rams, could go out with it, but the females can't. Why are you limited to the male animal sheep? What about the female sheep? Also need to be protected from the wolf. You with me, Mordechai? You hear the Gemara?
Why see the male and female?
Because the Mishnah states Zacharim yotzim levuvim. The Mishnah stated specifically, right, Charles? You with me, Charles? That the males go out with this heart protection, this vest. David, you with me? So why only males? What about the females? Oh, so look what the Gemara is going to say. First, the Gemara says ze'ivim ascharim nafli. The ze'ivim, the wolves go after the males, the male sheep. They don't go after the caves on nafli. They don't go after the females. Now, so the Gemara shoots. Maybe the Gemara was thinking. Okay, we'll see what the Gemara is thinking. Is it because why is it the Gemara is going to shoot back? So the Gemara says, sorry, excuse me 1 second. So the Gemara asks the question: Zeivim aschorim nafli and a keved lo nafli? The wolves go after the males and they don't go after the females? That's the Gemara's question. Why are they discriminating? Why wouldn't the wolves want to rip apart the female and eat the flesh of the female? The same way he wants to eat the flesh of the male sheep. So the Gemara says, Mishum the Maski Beresh Edra, because the males, they go in the front of the group, of the, what do you call them? The flock. The males go in the front of the flock because they are protecting the flock. So therefore, they're the ones that need the protection. So the Gemara says, Ze'ivim Beresh Edra Nafli, Besof Edra Lo Nafli. And the wolves only go after, they're only interested in attacking the front of the flock. They don't go to attack the back of the flock. If they can't get the front, if they don't get the front, they'll go after the back, or they'll go after the front and back. They'll kill the sheep in the front. They'll kill the sheep in the back. So they'll get the males in the front. They'll get the males in the back. They should protect the females in the back. Elam mishum deshamne. It's the big prize. They go after the males because the males are fatter generally. They're bigger, they're stronger, right, Moshe? And therefore the wolves are going for the bigger prize. So the Gemara says, hey, the lady sheep are not sometimes very also big. There's no there's no fat ones among the women, among the female sheep. The two, and furthermore, miyati behani. Do they really, are the wolves able to be so discerning to see that this is a female, this is a male, and number one, the Gemara is like this. Even though in general the males are bigger than the females, but since there are times that the females are also big. So number one, you shouldn't say that they're only going after the males. You should also go after the females. And number two, if the wolves look at a flock of sheep, do they first choose to go after the fatter ones first? Are they at that level of sophistication that that's how they act, and therefore you're going to say I only have to protect the males, not the females? That's how they explain the Gemara's question. Because the Gemara had 2 points. Number one, Rekav is like a shamni, and the females they're not big ones among the females. And number two is miyadi mihani hani. Number two, the Gemara says, who says that they're going to go ahead and when they start attacking, do they first go ahead and go after the bigger ones first? Now, Ella, the Gemara says, it could be the other opinion held, yes, okay, but the Gemara is saying no, it's not enough to say that. Ella, fascinating answer. Listen to this Gemara's answer. You know, when people stick their nose up, you know, there's some people that walk with certain. What's the expression, Adam?
Like,
you know,
like a Jew.
Start with me. You know, I walk in the street like I own the street. So therefore, the wolves think the males walk in the front of the flock like they own the place. Come on, but then they're moving their head. So the animals, so the wolves think that they want to incite them. They're ready, looking for a fight. So therefore, that's why he's going to take on the males. The males lift up their nose, umazgi ki davi, and they walk in a way that they're looking this way, they're looking that way, and this causes the wolves to feel like a little intimidated, to think that the males want to fight them. And you want to fight me? You want to start up with me? Then they go ahead and they attack. That's why it's specifically the Zcharim. But the females that don't walk like that, the female sheep that don't walk like that, so the wolves leave them alone. It's not so common that the wolves are going to attack them. Nachum Yitzchak says a third translation of the Levuvim. So we have the first one was that leather thing. The second one is or the first shot was that they tie the feet together, the animals together. They tie the animals together, they shouldn't run away. Second shot is the leather that's around the chest. And the third shot is or it's leather that they tie underneath the male organ of the sheep, in order that it wouldn't be able to mate with the females. And I think that is because it wants to protect its strength. And therefore, they're allowed to go ahead, since it's done for the animal, they're allowed to go out with that on the Shabbat. Now, so the Gemara says, so they prevented mating. That was this leather thing that they put underneath the male organ. So when the Gemara says, "Mimai," where do we see that it's indicating such a pshat that levuvim, it has to do with something with preventing the animal from mating? Militani Seifa, the Seifa says, "V'harecheloim," the females yotzot shchuzot. They could go out shchuzot. My shchuzot. What does it mean that the female animals on Shabbat could go out more Moshe shchuzot, and it's not called carrying? What is shchuzot? Shchuzot is like the lashon of achuz, of the hold. What she'ochzin ha'aliyah shalem lamayla. They hold. It's a thing that holds the tail up. They tie the tail, that the tail of the female should be high up, and that will expose its nakedness, and therefore that will like be a call for the men to come to mate with this female, because that means you want the animal to become pregnant, Kadesh Yalu Aleim Zacharim, in order that the males should, good morning, Asaf, in order that the males should mate with them. So we see, since the Mishnah, right after it talks about the females going out right after it talks about the males going out levuvim, it talks about the females going out shchuzot. And shchuzot has to do with mating. So it makes sense they're talking about the same type of things. Since the Mishnah says that so both of them are in the mating family. Either one is talking about encouraging mating. That's the ladies. That's the female thing that they lifted up the tail, and the males is to remove, is to discourage, that it shouldn't be mating. I just was thinking that it's interesting that they tie the tail above in order to reveal the nakedness of the animal, which means Hashem made the animal with a tail that covers up the nakedness. So I just was thinking maybe that's that is a part of the modesty, that even in the creation of the animals, Hashem made it that the animal, the female, Charlie, what do you say about that idea? That the female has the tail covers its nakedness. Now you want to encourage mating, so you pick up the tail and they tie the tail up to like an invitation. But what does it show? It shows you the great modesty that Hashem made even the animals. And why did Hashem make the animals with modesty? To teach us modesty as well. Okay, just to think about that point. I thought that's an interesting idea. Now, so the Gemara says, Reisha Kadesha Yalu Ala Kevod. So the Reisha is talking about that the male should not mate with the females, and the Seifas Kadesh Yalu Zcharim. And the Seifas talk about that the male should mate with the females, meaning both are dealing in the mating issue. Now the Gemara says, "My mashma the haishchuzos lishna degluihu." So we're saying now that when the Mishnah states in the Sefer that the female sheep go out shchuzot, and we're saying shchuzot means that they tie the tail high up to reveal the nakedness, where do we see that the word shchuzot is a lashna degluihu of revealing, to uncovering? Something called, if a person is not wearing yarmulke, it's called gilui rosh, right? The revelation of your head is not covered. So where do we see that shchuzot means uncovering, right? That's how we're translating the Sefer of the Mishnah, that the tail, that the nakedness is uncovered. The ksiv, or something called gilui erva, the revelation of everything. The ksiv, v'hine isha lekroto. There's a woman facing him. Now on page Nun Dalet Amud Aleph 54a. Turn the page. Shit zona unusurat leiv. Shit zona means that she is ervat zona, that the hair of the woman is revealed, and that unasurat leiv, and her heart is filled with zima. That means she's looking for customers. Like it sounds like a prostitute. So shit zona, right? Shit zona. We're talking about a woman. The pasuk is saying. Others explain shit zona is that she's like a zona. Shit is like she places herself like a zona. That the intention of the pasuk is that she gets herself ready, dresses herself like a zona. Like the zona. And what's the way of the zona? Her hair is revealed. She doesn't have her hair covered, but the hair of a woman. Good to see you, Mr. Amos. We see the hair of a woman being exposed the hair of a woman is called like an erva. the hair of a woman is a private, it has a status like a private area of the woman that's supposed to be covered. And someone who wants to be like a zona, like a prostitute, what does she do? The prostitutes uncover their hair because it's a very part of the body that really is a very beautiful part of a woman's body is her hair. Look how much time ladies spend on their hair. It's a very, but a married woman, the Jewish custom is that the custom is that the hair is supposed to be covered for the public because since she's married, it seems that that's the modesty is you're a married woman. This part of your body is a very sensitive or special or very unique.
More impressive than natural.
Okay, that sometimes a wig might look better, but I don't think it's a problem for a woman for a wig to look better. I think it's a problem when they overdo it. You know what I'm saying? There's levels. You know what I'm saying? But that is, you know, that is the pasuk is saying. So she's revealing. So her hair. So the way Rashi the learning. So her hair shit zona is the hair of the woman is revealed, right? And that is so we see that the word shechuzot and shechuzot. So if you look at the top Rashi, shit zona, shchuzot is like an acronym. It's a break of two words of shchuzot. Shchuzot is shit zona. So either one of the pshatim is like she's making herself like a zona, and making yourself like a zona means you're revealing yourself. You know, a prostitute, it's common that a prostitute would wear red, a certain type of flashy red dress. And therefore, that's why it's even brought down that it's certain types of red. It's not so modest for a woman to wear a certain type of color red in the dressing. Too much attraction. Anybody ever heard of that sort of thing? Anybody, Mordechai, you ever heard of such a thing? There's a certain color red that's too much, overdone. You know what I'm saying? That and therefore, but just interesting to note, because by the way, a lot, you know, the community has come a long way in many areas, like mikveh, right? David, right? The community has come very strong. Shabbat, but the area of covering for a lady to cover one's hair, I still think is an area that I think has not yet been conquered completely by all the women. I think that's in the community. Is that a correct statement to say, David? And hopefully that will be with time. This will be something that will be, you know, done, conquered as well. Obviously, it's a law. It's a Jewish. It's a law. Right. So modesty is a law, and there's certain laws that became that's the tradition of how women are supposed to be. A tradition, but that is law. That is a tradition that's law by the. By the way, I decided I have to talk about things, right? We spoke about, not everything is spoken about. I have to talk.
Set up a wig on, wear a baseball cap or.
Yeah, hair is covered, yes, yes.
No, but it has to be completely covered, right?
I mean, as long as, you know, the small amount of the hair could be revealed, you know what I'm saying?
Cover.
We have to look more into the halacha, but let the lady wear the Yankee cap. Moshe, let her wear the Yankee cap if she's not ready to wear anything else. Let her wear the Yankee cap. Let's work with
what the Israeli women in the West Bank like to wear. The fun, what's it called? There's a word.
What,
No, the fun one.
they wear the big ones. Yeah.
You don't see that in America.
Yeah. You don't see it. It's right. You don't see that so much in America, right? Okay, now the Gemara. So we just made a pitch. We're encouraging everybody to spread.
What do the men have to do to be?
Okay, the men should, right, the men have to first of all, it's not supposed to, they're supposed to encourage the women to cover their hair. That's what they need to do.
No, we know that.
Yeah.
No, we don't have to do it.
The men are not supposed to be wearing tight clothing. If men want to show their body parts or certain type of things that might not be modest, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, you can't wear shorts.
A man can wear shorts, technically.
It's around other men, it's around, it's in public, yeah.
I don't know. That I don't know. I don't know that's a problem man to wear shorts. But as long but as long a man, I think there's something called tight clothing that men wear sometimes. And I think a certain type of tight clothing on their, especially their pants, it's not so modest.
I understand, but this is what with women, I understand why there's an emphasis on the physical, because if they were gonna, engage in attention-seeking behavior, it would be that way. But for a man we engage in attention-seeking behavior in much different ways. Like if I wanted to act like I'm important and draw attention to myself, I wouldn't wear tight pants. I would go to 47th Street and buy a watch I couldn't afford. Like what is the point of modesty for men? Is it like a lesser version of what women have to do, or is it something totally different?
Right. So there are laws about not showing off and not acting, certain type of things, not acting with. There's two things. There's one thing called gaiva, boasting, showing off. The guy wearing that watch that he can't afford or wants to show off the most expensive watch, that might be that's that's boasting, which is also maybe not acting in a modest way, overdoing it. People should, but I think there's certain types of modesty, which is a type of modesty which is in the area of that encourages certain types of activity
Encourage that activity.
but but there's certain areas, like I said, the tight clothing in that certain type of things that are like you're making a good point. You're saying a lady wearing that red color is calling attention to herself, right? There might not be anything about it's not tight on her. It's not that she's wearing tight clothing, which, by the way, Rabbi Feinstein told me what's the problem with, it's another area, what's the issue? As you know, women wearing pants, right? What's the issue? What's the concern? Why wearing pants is something that the rabbis will say, and women because the shape of the woman's body is being pronounced, right? It's delineating therefore if a lady's wearing pants, you would say let her wear Hillary Clinton's type of pants. You know what I mean? Very baggy type of pants. That's the type of pants that would be much better, for modest. But you bring up a good point, Adam. Exactly. Everybody, modesty is not limited to the women, and men have to also conduct themselves in modesty. There's certain types of, whether it's their dress or whether other areas. If a person goes ahead and shows off, whatever the show off might be, that's also a lack of.
We need more rules around this.
Right. There definitely are rules. We gotta look up more in the halacha of how to conduct oneself in a very modest way. There's a pasuk that says that be modest with where you roll and with Hashem and in the world is not limited to mistake that people think it's specifically for women. Modesty is an area that men have to also focus on, being modest in many, even your speech. How do we talk? What do we talk about, right? How do we talk? Proper language, some people talk things that are not appropriate with their mouth, not modest speech, right? So modesty is in there are many areas, in dress and speech, in all areas.
Rabbi, I have a question. So the Gemara was giving three possibilities for the levuvin for that word, but they never concluded which one is right. So do we know which one is the actual permission, like to carry?
Right, that's a good question. We would have to look up in the Shulchan Aruch, which, if it agrees to all three, because or is it just that Shulchan Aruch is only going to agree to one of them? So then we have to look up in the Shulchan Aruch. Maybe I'll have it tomorrow. I'll look up the Shulchan Aruch and Siman Shin Hey. See, he's asking, the Gemara offers three different translations of the Mishnah. When the Mishnah says that the males go out levuvim, so there's three different explanations in the Gemara what it refers to, right? So the question is, which is the law? Does it follow all three opinions? Meaning, any of those things would also be appropriate for whether it's around the chest of the animal, whether it's holding the two animals together, or whether it's underneath the male organ to prevent it from mating. So the Mishnah says it's not in violation. It's for the purpose of the animal, right? Let's say you understand that the chest, what do they call it? The police wear, the bulletproof. So the fence preventing the wolves from attacking you understand that's for the purpose of the male sheep. The ram, you can understand that's not carrying. That's just like clothing. You can put clothing for the warmth of the animal. It's not carrying, so that should also not be carrying. And the question is, so that should definitely be okay. But that's one approach. But the other answer the Gemara was it's referring to to protect the male that the organ should not mate. So is that also considered lahalacha a valid thing to put on the animal and the animal go on? That's what Aaron's asking. We have three different opinions of what the Mishnah is referring to, and the question is what is the law? So I said I'm going to have to do my homework tonight. I want to wish everyone a great day. See everybody tomorrow, hopefully. Bezat Hashem.
Thank you.
Why anyone?
Right. The question is this considered something that's part of the animal that's considered, or is it, I mean, if you can't put on the animal, if you want to put on the animal a toy, and the animal to go, that's no good. It's carrying. He's not allowed to carry from private. Your animal has to rest on Shabbat, David. Your animal can't be working on Shabbat. And going from private to public, carrying something would be if it's carrying. That's what it's focusing on. Exactly. Have a great day, Aaron. All the best, Asaf.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I noticed with a lot of women, they can be very modest according to this halakha, but when it comes to the wedding, they need $75,000 worth of flowers behind them. Is that modest?
It's a lack of. It's a different type of modesty that's missing.
There's a lot of picking and choosing.
Right. It's not humility. It's not mod. It might be too much. Right. So it's a different. It's not in the area of
Sexual. It's not sexual.
exactly. It's a different.
I get it. That's the principal one.
Right.
That's